Hey there, YouTube. Thank you for joining us again. This is Chris and Carly, and we're back with another video, and we're actually really excited about this one. We're actually going to start off this video with our fun fact, because it's actually kind of what our video is about today. So Carly, what's our fun fact about ball pythons today?
They can eat rats or mice.
They can eat rats or mice, right? So they're going to eat rodents of some sort, and so that's what the video is about today. So we've had these girls for a week now. We've had them in their enclosure, and they're doing great. They're at night they seem to be coming out and kind of looking around and like they're hunting. That's typically when ball pythons are going to hunt, is at night. They're nocturnal animals, and so. What we're going to go do is we actually have a local supplier that is going to provide us with the rodents that we're going to have for our ball pythons. Now, from the breeder, they came eating live fuzzy rats, okay? And so we are not going to feed live rats. We are actually going to try to transition these girls over to frozen thawed for a number of different reasons that we're not necessarily going to get into in this video. We will do a subsequent video about why we chose frozen thawed over live. But ultimately, we've chosen to do frozen thawed rodents. Now, they were eating rat fuzzies, and the supplier that I found here close to us doesn't have a category for fuzzies. They have what they call rat pups, and a rat pup is anywhere from 16 grams to about 30 grams. And so, in talking with them, a rat fuzzy would be kind of on the lower end of that grouping. So maybe that 16 to 20 or 22 grams, somewhere in there would be what they would categorize as a rat fuzzy. So since we're going to go ahead and go with the frozen rat pups. We're about to run over there and meet them right now. So this will actually be a two-part video. So we're going to kind of show you what we're taking with us, obviously, to get them back. This may seem very elementary, but again, we want to literally document everything as we're kind of doing it, right? And hopefully, so that will help someone else who's looking to get into the hobby of keeping ball pythons. And so so where we have to go is about 40 minutes away. So we definitely need to have a means of keeping the rats frozen, right? So we're just going to bring a small little cooler. What we'll do is we'll just put maybe a bag of ice or something in here. 40 minutes is not too bad, right? So we ought to be able to get them in here. This will be nice and cold, and it'll keep them frozen till we get back. And so obviously we'll have the cooler. We'll do the second part of this video when we actually get them here and we thaw the rats out, and then we're actually going to feed in that second video. And so it'll be a part of this one, but a second part of it. And so right now, just for anybody out there, if you do not want to see a feeding of ball pythons, well, hopefully we see a feeding of ball pythons, right? That's kind of the from what we've seen in our research and all the videos that we've watched. That's kind of the ultimate of if your snake is actually adapting well and is doing well. So hopefully we see that tonight with both Cutie and with Bubbles. So so we're about to head off. We're going to get the frozen thawed rats or rat pups. Bring them back, and then we'll show you what we're doing from there. So, see you in a minute. All right, guys, so we're back here at the house. So we've just picked up our bag of rat pups, and it's quite a big bag, isn't it? Mm-hmm. So we have it down here in our cooler that we showed you earlier that we used. All right, so again, this is what a bag of 30 frozen rat pups looks like. Now, here's kind of the thing. They are very big, and my girls are not this big. And so, so what we're going to actually do, so whenever you're feeding your snakes, you want to look for a prey item that is about the size, maybe a little bit bigger than the biggest part of the snake. And so, man, all these look really big. So I did read somewhere else where you could actually, at least as a juvenile, you can actually go kind of by weight, anywhere from 10 to 20% of their body weight. So we weighed them when we got them home. They were 92 and 97 grams. So that's going to put us somewhere between 18 and 20 grams, maybe a little bit less if we're going off 20%. So I'm going to weigh them out. We're going to put them in three separate groupings, 15 to 20 grams, 21 to 25, and then 26 and up. Hopefully we won't have a lot of those, but I'm kind of worried that we might, because these guys are
really
they just look big, right? They look really big. And so, all All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So Carly, if you're going to be my bag handler over there, right?
Yep.
My goodness. All right, so we've got our scale here.
Yep.
We're going to zero it out.
We just have a plate on a snake scale. What were you using?
All right, so there we go. All right, so our first one, that's 2. See, and that's going to be kind of the issue too, is...
Ew.
So see, that one's 29 grams. So that's what a almost 30-gram frozen rat pup looks like.
Ew.
So we're going to try and do this as quick as possible, just to 27. So that one's going to go in there too. Hoping we get some small ones here, folks. 28.
I feel like it's going to be like
30. Straight up 30. So, and, oh, let's see here. 28. Golly. 27.
So they both go down.
Yeah, and we ultimately, like I said, probably we're just going to dump all those back in here.
Yeah.
I just got to figure out how to get these guys apart. So
we might just end up feeding them these two.
I don't know. We're really going to have to take a look and see, because those are quite big compared to them. 28. $26 and 30. All right, so all these ultimately are just going to go back into this bag. So, all right, so here's kind of the dilemma. So you've heard us kind of talking here that obviously we don't want snakes that are we don't want prey items that are too big for the snakes. All of those right there, at least at this point, and I don't know for sure, but they just look like they'd be too big around for as big as our girls are today. Now, what we're probably going to do then, so you can see of the 30, the overwhelming majority, obviously, were between 26 and 30 grams. We had, like 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that were between 21 and 25, and actually, well, really 7, because those were 22 grams. Those just happened to be the 2 smallest that we found, and so so we're gonna go with, man, I don't even know if we should go with these. They're quite large, and so what we'll do, we'll thaw them out, and we'll just kind of see what they look like. I really have a feeling these are going to be way too big. So we're going to figure that out. Ultimately, what we're going to do, guys, though, so talk to the breeder, or the guy that gave us these, and and he said that you can thaw them in cool water. So there's some different things that you see out there as far as how you should do this, and some say warm, hot water. He definitely said go with cool water, or you could leave them out on the out on the counter for a while, and that would be okay. So we're going to see how these two go. It could be the way that they're just kind of, all these are angled and kind of flattened. They look a lot bigger than they actually are, and so we'll definitely try that out. So we're going to thaw them in cool water. And then right before you feed, that's when you actually you dunk them in some hot water, right? And that's how the snake knows they have the heat pits in their on their little snoot, right? And that's how they know. That's how they can find the prey, and they taste the air, right, with their tongue when they do their tongue flicks, and so hopefully we'll see how this goes. So we're gonna thaw these guys out. Now it is about probably about 7:30. We're wanting to feed between about maybe 9 and 9:30, and the reason that is snakes are nocturnal animals, and they come out at night. That's when they do their hunting. Our girls have been coming out at night, and they've been pretty active during the night, and so that's good. So I think we're one step closer. We just really gotta, we're just gonna have to see how this works, and if these prey items are too big. Now we do know that they've gone about 2 weeks now without food. So the breeder that we got them from, he was feeding live rat fuzzies. He was feeding on Tuesdays. So this is now a Sunday. So this coming Tuesday would be a full 2 weeks, and so they're right at almost 2 weeks. So they should be good and hungry. just hoping we don't have too big of a meal for them. So, you know what?
I'm sure
We're going to go
they're
ahead.
hungry,
What's
though.
that?
I'm sure they're pretty hungry though.
No, there's no doubt that they're going to be hungry. I'm just worried about the size of prey that we have. So what we're going to go ahead and do, I think, is I'm going to go ahead and thaw these. I think we'll go ahead and thaw them just to kind of see, once they're not frozen, do we see, you know, maybe any difference in size, and see if it looks like it might be a little bit closer to the size of the snakes. If they're not, then what I may have to see about maybe making a run up to a Petco or a PetSmart real quick and see if they've got anything. The problem is the smallest thing I've seen for them as far as rats go is small rats, at least in our area. They don't have anything smaller than that, but you know, we'll see. So we're gonna go ahead and put these rats, I should say, in some water, some cool water for about 15 to 20 minutes is about how long it should take. Yep. We'll get them thawed out, and we'll take a look and just see if it makes any more sense to us. Maybe okay. So we will. The next video that comes on, we'll either show you that we're good and we're going to be feeding, or we may not if it works out to not be that way. So, all right. See you in a minute. Okay, guys. So here we are. It's now nighttime. We've had our frozen rat pups. So sitting in this container. Okay. So we basically filled this up with. Not cold water, but certainly not hot water. Probably what it ultimately wound up being was kind of a room temperature type of water. Went in for about 20 minutes. They were still really, really cold. Checked at about 30. And so we ultimately wound up leaving them in for 45 minutes. And the 45 minutes, they seemed nice and thawed out. So we've had them sitting now in very warm water, hot water, for a few minutes. So what we're ready to do is feed. So ultimately, we're not going to feed by hand. We're going to have the feeding tongs, and we want the snake to strike and ultimately get around the head. That we want the head to go down first. We certainly don't want him to grab it at the back. And so when we feed, we'll have kind of the back of the animal here.
By the tail?
By the tail, just the back half of the rodent there. And hopefully we get a couple of that feed tonight. Hopefully Cutie and Bubbles want to feed. Yep. I've seen Cutie out and about. She's already kind of roaming around. It was kind of funny. It's a little bit earlier than what she's normally come out, I think. And I don't know if a scent kind of came off when we were doing when we were separating out the rats. We were doing it basically in the same room, and she was right at the front of her tub, man, just really kind of up against the top, kind of moving around. So I think she may sense something's coming. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to take these out. Sophie, will you get me some more paper towels, please?
They actually they shrunk a little bit.
Yeah, I still think
they're still pretty big.
They still may be a little large now. So two things can happen here. If it's too large, then the snake will hopefully not eat it. They certainly could if it's too large of a prey item. But here is, you can see, you know, they're actually, once we kind of thawed these guys out, they're not too bad. So, all right. So Carly, you want to grab the camera there, and let's go see if we can feed some snakes. Okay, here we are. So we're going to get the animal from the hind end here. All right, follow us over here, Carly. Now we always want to open our tubs, especially during feeding time. Make sure you can see it. You see it all right?
Yeah.
Kind of come up top a little bit. I think I'm in the way here. Is that better?
Yeah.
So she's not at the front anymore. Oh, she's actually in her hide. So and it may be a little too big for her to take. So she is definitely in her hide. She was out and about earlier. And she's not interested at the moment. So let's take a look at Bubbles. Bubbles is out of hers.
you hungry?
And it doesn't look like Bubbles is much interested.
Oh, maybe.
No, she's actually kind of backing off. She's hiding her head. So, okay, so let's do one thing here. I want to see. We're going to heat gun this thing here and see. He's 78 degrees, so he's definitely warm.
Let's try her again. I mean, she's sort of, kind of poking her head out.
No, she is definitely not interested at the moment.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to give them a minute. We're going to put these guys back in some warm water, and then we'll try again here in just a bit. So Carly and I are here. Carly's filming at the moment. We are going to give this another shot, and so we've tried a couple of times. We've tried warming it up. We've tried what we're going to try this time, if they don't initially take it, was reading that you can actually leave them up to overnight in the enclosure with your snake. I don't think I want to do that. That kind of seems like a long time. So I think what we'll do, if they don't initially take it, we will leave it in there, but maybe just for an hour or two. It can be that snakes are very shy, so if they don't take it, with the lights and kind of everything going on, maybe if we leave it in there, they'll take it and eat it without us seeing it. Now, that being said, these could still be some too large prey items. Okay. So that could be, kind of part of the reason we're running into as well. But nonetheless, we're going to try again. In between, I did take them actually out of the bag that they were in, and I dried them off a little bit. Could be maybe they were too wet. Maybe that had something to do, and the scent maybe wasn't kind of coming all the way through. But we're going to try it again. So here we go. I just got them. They've been kind of just sitting here for a little bit over an hour. And so I just put them in some more warm water. Very warm water. And all right, let's go try this. So we'll start with Cutie. See if she's out again. She is. Okay. All right, so I'm on your way.
Mm-hmm.
And don't
she
know
did
that she
kind of have a feeding response.
She's kind of moving back. Whoa,
Whoa,
there we go.
There you go.
All right.
That's good.
So that might be all right. So beautiful. So she's in there.
Yeah.
We're gonna leave her. All right.
That
All
is
right.
good.
All right. Now let's see if Bubbles. Will do the same for us here. Now that we had these guys dried off a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It is a little bit later in the evening.
Yep.
And this is a little bit more warmer water. Bubbles is in her hide.
We might have to leave it in her hide.
So we're going to see if Bubbles... Oh, she sees something. She moved, but I don't see her head. So we're going to leave this just right there, and we're going to see what she does. So it is kind of warm.
Yeah.
The good news is we got Cutie to eat, all right?
Yeah.
So we're going to see, kind of looking at it up against her, it looked like it might be okay.
Yeah.
Looked like these girls might be all right. So we'll just kind of... So she's still got her cooled up, so that's good. That's what they're going to do. All right, so we're going to leave. We're going to come back in about an hour. We'll see if Bubbles has done anything. Hopefully she will. The whole time, Cutie's always kind of been up in that kind of classic S every time we come in here at night, kind of almost looking like she did there, which is fantastic. She did great. It is a little bit later in the evening, so we're at about 9:30, 10 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
That might have something to do with it. The later, they do typically eat a little bit later on. And so we're going to leave that in there. We're going to come back and we'll see, hopefully Bubbles, we'll take it. She's definitely not shown any interest yet. So we're going to leave them. We'll come back and we'll see what happens. All right.
So we just fed the snakes, and Cutie ate, but we don't know if Bubbles ate, so we're gonna do an update on Bubbles and Cutie. So, yeah.
Okay. So we'll come over here and why don't we check Cutie. Alright, so she wrapped and looks like she ate, and there's her little bulge. I don't know if you can really see. So actually that looks like it was just about perfect for her, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Now the one we're really worried about here.
Yeah.
And nothing. Now she's out.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's put her back in. She is out. So I think what we do is we'll just leave it for a little bit, you think?
Yeah.
And we'll come back and check here in a little bit. Okay. Hey guys, so it is the following night after our first attempt at feeding, which it took us how many times? I think it was 3 times. So after the third attempt, we actually got we got Cutie, our pied female. She took the rat pup and she coiled it and ate it fairly quickly. We came back and checked in about 30 minutes, and it was gone and she was done. It is I think the 22 grams is right at her upper limit of what she's going to be able to eat. Now we tried with Bubbles.
Yes.
I think the good news is with Bubbles. So we tried 3 times also with Bubbles. We did wind up leaving the rat pup in there for it was at least a couple hours. I don't know, I kind of fell asleep and then got back up. But she didn't eat. But what she did do, we had laid it a couple different spots in the enclosure, and it looked like both times she moved it. Now that could have just been moving it with her body, or she might have been fiddling with it. I don't know. But ultimately, she wound up not eating, which is not necessarily a horrid thing. We kind of hoped we'd get both of them to eat, but sometimes they do. You know, she might just be a little bit more uncomfortable than what Cutie was, and didn't want to eat this time, right?
Yeah.
So we, it's actually kind of funny. We put a note on the front of on the front of our rack over there, saying not to touch, so it'll remind us not to go in there. We definitely want to give Cutie, you know, the minimum you want to give them is 48 hours. So she ate at about 9:30, between 9:30 and 10 last night. So the minimum would be tomorrow night, which is Tuesday, at about that time. And I think with that big a meal that we gave her, we're definitely even give her till Wednesday. Give her, you know, 36 hours before we even think about kind of going in there and messing with her, other than just checking, you know, for, you know, water and things of that nature, right? And with Bubbles not eating, really just kind of give her time to kind of chill out and calm down. We don't want to handle her too much, you know, and then hopefully this coming Sunday, you know, she'll eat, right? We'll hopefully get her to take a bite or two, right? So anyway, this was kind of a disjointed video after we kind of get this all edited together. So we appreciate you kind of hanging in there with us for our first time feeding. Like we said, we're gonna just kind of bring you guys along for the ride for the whole show. So you got anything else to say? Yeah, neither do I. I'm tired. So all right, thanks guys. We'll see y'all later.